Hang on. So, welcome. I'm Moonlight, and I'm here. I am sort of trying to organize myself, so yeah. Something you should know about me from the get-go is that I have an ADHD brain. So that means that the way that I process and the way that I interact with my environment and things like that is going to be quite different to other people. And so, through expressing that, I'm able to allow for some walls to come down, because I think sort of, labels like, oh, there's something wrong with you. But actually, everyone processes life and their own experiences and their own thoughts in different ways. And we all are here to be on a journey of self-discovery about ourselves. There'll be people, characters within the psychological drama of life, that will seek to own those parts of you that and make you feel like certain parts of you should not exist, or you shouldn't identify with certain parts of yourself. So I'm quite a dramatic spiritual person, and so lots of people don't really know how to take me because I'm different. But there are so many different perspectives on reality, that if we begin, instead of trying to own reality for somebody else, if we are able to move into a more harmonious space where we can express perspectives and share experiences that have allowed for us to develop those perspectives. Because when we have that level of connection with somebody else, we are transparent and we are able to communicate. The things that cause us to not communicate is when we are we feel shut down inside. We feel like there's parts of us that when they are held within the superficial light of that superficial judgment that comes from fear, or someone's resistance to something, or superficial judgments of accusations and assumptions and things like that, what things appear to be according to the inner paradigm of our own fears. So, often we project our fears onto others because they trigger our inner invisible boundary lines. Okay, and so if you have been taught that you have no boundary, that's a load of shit because we have within all of us boundary lines. No one appreciates other people coming into your private space or disrespecting who you are, how you identify, what the expression of your own existence. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of judgments out there like that, right? So understanding the different dimensions of reality comes through when we begin to understand the different dimensions of ourselves, because, love is the only thing that is real, and we are love and we are light. It is the fallen mind that caused us to come into the shadow perspective of self that is disconnected or detached from the true connection to our own heart. You see, we must balance the mind with the heart. That's to come into the fullness of reality, because we have an inner world and an external world, and these two worlds collide. They are one and the same. We are, we think about, oh, the spiritual world's out there. No, we are the spiritual world, because we are generating the paradigm, the images, and the identification and interpretation and meaning of things, okay, that's happening outside of us through the paradigm that we have built within us, because we create reality through this paradigm, this inner paradigm. So this inner paradigm is built through the way we've interpreted and given meaning to things that we have experienced within this reflective mirror of life. And so we go through different experiences where we experience the reflection of light that comes from love. And we say, I feel safe, I feel supported, I feel connected, I feel respected, I feel understood, I feel held within this space. Why? Because I have that inner peace and harmony. Why? Because we have together within us and for ourselves and within ourselves the balance and the trust. Because when we have balance and trust, both within ourselves and between ourselves, that is a sure sign that we have become conscious of something greater called the sacred boundary that exists within all perspectives of reality in life, the sacred boundary, okay, of this energetic kingdom. This energetic kingdom that needs to find the expression of the self, right? Of the self. So the self gets locked away in different compartments and different energetic prisons where it has felt misunderstood, rejected, abandoned, deceived, betrayed, all these sorts of things that we go through. That's called, we walk through the valley of the shadow, of the shadows. But we will fear no evil, because we learn not to fear evil when we recognize God uses that which was meant for evil, will turn it into good. So, you're covered. It's like, supernatural insurance. Yeah. So welcome. I just want this to be a place and a space where we feel comfortable to express perspectives on reality, and and no one owns all of reality. It's okay. We're all different, different walks of life, different experiences, different encounters, and different understandings of what we have come to know of ourselves, things that we've learned along the way, because reality is always changing. Change is the constant within reality. You see, we think we control reality, don't we? We think, well, I have a diary, and so I can write in my diary, the day and the time and the thing. And I can imagine and use the imagination to say, oh, on this day, in the future, I'm going to go and see so and so. No, we put it all in our diary, and then we have a reality check when something happens that throws all those plans out of whack. Okay, something just unexpected happens, because life is unpredictable. Okay, and so yes, we are sort of in control of that 3D reality, and I want to talk about what 3D reality is in terms of its vibration and its rhythms and things like that as consciousness. But I also want to talk about when something happens within our lives that we didn't expect. Okay, sometimes, little changes and things. Oh, okay, yes, you can't make it because of the X, Y, and Z, or this happened, and so that didn't get to happen, or we get disappointed and attached to things, don't we? But the thing is, what we need, the middle road that we need to take um, is that disappointment is a part of life. And so it's okay to feel disappointment about things, but understand, um, don't become the disappointment. Don't become like you pinned everything on that, and do you know what I mean? And so you begin to identify, oh, this always happens to me. Don't do that. Okay. Just recognize that there's twists and turns in life, and life is full of changes, and it's unpredictable. And this illusion that we feel that we have to keep making it real, that we're in control of everything and everyone, when really we're not. We're not in control of this external representation that we call the 3D reality of life. We are because we are not we because we are called to be in control of this life that we are inside, so that along the way, along the journey, I mean, the thing is, when you learn to surrender, trust and surrender the completion of all things, because that will unfold the path, that will allow for you to begin to see the miracles and the wonders of life. You are opening up the space for there to be movement. Okay. And so, um I think much of the spiritual path is opening up the space within our heart, opening up the space within our mind to look at things differently, because it is within the renewing of our mind that we're transformed. That's the balancing point, right? Okay. So this thing called mind, I don't think we use the full capacity of our mind. I don't believe we experience the full dimensions of our consciousness, because we insist on just remaining within the 3D reality rhythms. Yes, there are those rhythms and those structures, and they exist and are allowed to be there. But also, we need to understand the rhythms and the structures of our own energetic field, and also the rhythms and the structures of how we build our lives, where these two worlds collide, the physical 3D world and the spiritual world of our own mental health, our own balancing point within us. When we become more connected to that, then we become more connected to this kingdom that we're building within us. Because after all, Christ did say the kingdom of heaven is within you. Not only Christ, all the ascended masters were all trying to get humanity's attention, and all saying the same thing, like, it's over here, it's over here, it's within you, it's within you. Hey, oh, they're not listening. you know you know and so, the thing is, we can become very attached to the 3D reality and just what we can physically see and things like that. But there are times within, this within the spiritual path that we're on, where we let go of the reality structure for a moment, because we've just had this huge shift within our paradigm and within our reality of what is real. Okay, so that could be a family member dies, or something happens, something shifts, something catastrophic, and it throws your rhythms out. Okay, the rhythm of the 3D. You can't keep track of time, because you have gone down into your emotional underworld, and you have begun to access your internal processing center, and that's a healthy part of us. We it may appear, a lot of spiritual experiences may appear to other people, oh, they've lost the plot, blah blah blah, all this sort of talk, and that's okay. There are those perspectives out there, but people that understand the spiritual world understand that there are times when there are benefits within um, going into that deep uh, processing center, and so sometimes we have to sort of forget about time, we have to forget about our to-do list, we have to forget about all the things that we need to be doing, and we have to take time to sit and to rest and to meditate. And so what happens is when we do have a reality check, something within our paradigm drastically changes, and so that external event within the external landscape of the 3D, of course it impacts the internal landscape, because that is where we are creating our paradigm, right? And so the whole paradigm shifts. And so what happens is sometimes when those things happen, it triggers a response within us, and that response happens at a deeper level where our internal processing center comes on, and it begins to reorganize and restructure everything according to the new wisdom and the greater awareness that you need to integrate in order to fully accept what is happening within your life, and why we know when we begin to take the path of why, the deeper why is this way, and why did that happen to me, and you know why weren't they there for me, or whatever it was. Okay, it often we often start this we often begin to descend down into that pit of our own hell, of the times when we felt abandoned and fucking rejected, and no one understands me, as another one. And why was I even born? I just we get frustrated and we go down into that internal processing center. Is everyone aware of that now? Yes, it actually exists. Okay, we're not just here as robots, we are here as spiritual beings. Mental health is understanding. I am a mind, body, soul, spirit. I am a living presence of life within this energetic field that I am. Okay. And so, what we begin to build within our energetic field through the meditation and the spiritual practice, okay, we begin to build that inner house that can connect to that part of ourselves. Because if we've lived life being told that part of you cannot exist, you cannot express your spiritual gifts, you cannot be that way around me because I don't understand it and I'm afraid of it, and I'll label it and crucify it and resist it and fear it for the rest of my days. No, don't come near me. And the thing is, like, for goodness sake, get a grip. You know what I mean? You have to get a grip on reality and recognize that, yes, people go on this dream time, go on this place of initiation, of healing and growth, where they can integrate the deeper experiences that have been their life. And they begin to reorganize in terms of how they identify themselves, and the beautiful expression that needs to come forth of their higher existence. Because when we begin to connect to those parts of ourselves that we were told, hey, those parts of you are not allowed. Those parts of you must be suppressed. Those parts of you, don't you shine that light too bright. Don't you be too confident. Don't be too happy. Oh, no. No. Misery loves company. Now come on over. Oh, no. And so we begin to navigate this thing called life, this life that we are inside. Okay, so I want to talk about, in contrast to that life that we are inside, I mean, I've just gone there with you. Okay, we've charged that energy. So I think the foundation is that of reality. Well, who owns reality? Who owns the place of God? Yeah. Is it the light or the shadow? Well, actually, no, it is the divine inner presence of the balancing point. of trust. Okay, that you know we will experience the light, the reflection of love, but we will also experience the shadow of hate and fear and jealousy and envy, those shadows, Okay, we experience those two, the projection and the reflection. Okay, when we see the reflection, we are seeing the reflection of love within ourselves. A smile is a perfect example. Okay, so these are we are energetic beings that hold deeper connections within ourselves and for ourselves. Okay, can meet a complete stranger, have a conversation, and feel like you've met them somewhere in a past life because the quality of that conversation and that connection was outstanding. I mean, you haven't had that level of connection with the people that you call friends for a long time, of authenticity, of connection, of quality, of value, that deeper level, that spiritual speak on the soul level, right? When you meet people like that, I see you, I hear you, I feel you within the cosmic heart, okay? Because we are one. We are that heart consciousness. We just fell within our mind. We forgot. So we create reality through the use of our imagination. Imagination is within the mind. It is within our consciousness. No, it doesn't just disappear because we age and we become adults. It is a foundational part of our consciousness, the imagination. We can use the imagination within the 3D reality. Yes, we can. We can future project within our mind and imagine, oh, I need to go to the supermarket. I'll go to that one on that street and I'll write my shopping list and I'll have to remember this and that, and I'll function within, and so that is using the imagination to future project and to think about things, right? Okay. But also, we can use the imagination to meditate and to create and to see potential in things. The more that we recognize I am in control of myself and I am in charge of this environment that is my reflection, um, whether you allow for things to impact you or whether you just let them go, okay, that's something that you're doing within yourself. So that's a spiritual practice because we have to go into the heart and go, hey, how's it going in there? What's happening? uh, are we able to reconnect to ourselves and to what we really need? Do that supportive reflection within ourselves. Okay, hey, I'm here for you. That higher self. Yeah, we can. We can meditate, we can connect within our consciousness where we're detaching from that busy mind of future projecting, okay? An organization within the constructs of time. Now, when you go into a deep healing, you go into a deep internal processing center, right? And there's flows of information incoming and outgoing, okay? And so what's happening is oftentimes when people have these kinds of spiritual encounters, yes, they are in the DSM, okay? They are in the manual, all right? And so these experiences, okay, are happening for a purpose, for a reason. So if they're rattling off something and it doesn't actually make much nonsensical to you, it's because it's not for you to understand. It is something that deep that they are processing within themselves so that they can come into a deeper wisdom and understanding of things. Okay, yes, they will see things that are not there to the physical eye, according to everybody else. There's nothing there. But the thing is, this is not a symptom, of an illness. This is a signal that they are um, going through a deeper process that could only happen if they were in a different dimension of their own consciousness. So these people need support. They need people to supervise them and cook for them and reflect love to them and support them, because they will not stay in that state forever. Everything will equilibralize and balance. And what will happen is out of that experience will come a transformation through the ownership of the self. Okay, so oftentimes people may go through these things called, they call them psychoses, they call them spiritual awakenings, they call them illnesses, and all sorts of things. There's all sorts of different perspectives on the reality of this encounter. But the person that actually holds the highest perspective, the highest authority on the matter, would be the person that has experienced them, wouldn't you say? Yes, I would say that. Okay. They are the expert, because they are the ones that, when they come out of that experience, there is something more fuller and deeper that has been integrated into the self. And so the balancing point of our transformation is ownership. And we can't really fully own those deeper parts of ourselves until we allow for ourselves to go deep down into the internal processing center. Because that's the place where we find, um, you know, the greater story of who we are. Okay. The legacy, the legend, the we grow and we healing processes, growing processes are so that we can find our internal path of flight. Okay, so we can come into the depth of, well, this is why I'm here, this is my passion, this is my destiny, this is what I'm called to do. you know if you have a problem with me being a channeler, then that's your problem. It's got nothing to do with me. You're going to take that up with God. I really, I wish you well. It's something that you either have to find that within yourself. Okay. Or we're all channeling to some degree, right? Because we we begin to channel when we begin to express the deeper world. Okay, it's like making room within the heart, within our spirit. Okay, we make room. Yeah. So we have to make room for encounters like that, because they are part of they are what brings the mental health. It's what brings everything back into reorganization and order. So if you think about it, okay, um when you type something in, like, it's very much like our consciousness is almost like the internet. Okay, but we limit it and we restrict. We don't have the full capacity of it because we are not willing to think outside the box. People that don't have these kinds of experiences in life are the ones that, oh no, I'm too afraid to think outside the box. Goodness me, that could be, if there's anything like that, that's terrible, that's the devil, no, no, and all this. And I think, oh, Jay, just get a grip. Get a grip. Get a grip on reality. Okay. There are thought forms that belong to fear and resistance and judgment, and there are thought forms that belong to the better judgment of the greater awareness of self, of love, of connection. Okay. So, you know, after all, it was the knowledge of good and evil that caused us fallen. And so, yeah, and so, well, who gets to have that position of determining what is good and what is evil, and what is standing in? Are you good or are you evil? You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it's not about that really. It's about, do you have knowledge of yourself? Um, because within us all, you know, there is the potential, uh, to have thoughts that mislead us and that are not healthy. You know, unforgiveness is a rotter of your mind. Um, you know, uh, when we hold on to stories that we tell over and over again, that loop, and we trigger all the same emotions, and then we go down into habits of medication and numbing out, things like that. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say here is that we need to know for ourselves what is good. Okay, what is good and what is evil. Okay. um is our train of thought causing us to detach and distance ourselves and become more numb and become more depressed? And okay, so that's a train of thought that's going nowhere, so that would make you depressed, right? Okay, so when we begin to change our train of thought, oh, there we go, and we're back on track, then we're able to manage, what do I really feel about this? What am I choosing to think for myself? Okay, that's called owning the self. So without that balancing point of ownership, we would have no transformation, because transformation, like Christ said, and all the ascended masters are saying, comes through the renewing of our mind. So that the mind is something that we own, and that we must renew for ourselves. We have to own it for ourselves, because within our mind, Christ said, within the world, there's many voices, there's many energies and mentalities that are trying to own how we think, how we turn up, how we behave. That's called the spirit of control, right? Okay. Trolling around. Oh, you can't think like that. Oh, all that sort of stuff. And but we're not here to control. We are here to be within the creative charge of our own flow of thought. Okay, right? And so yeah, that battle, that war within the mental egoic mind, um is what causes us to remain within the shadows and within that hell that we've created within ourselves, of that paradigm. So salvation is learning, shit, that's not the right paradigm, that's not helping me in life. We begin to realize the way that we talk and the assumed beliefs that we have about things. And did I say that? Did I think that? Yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah, I did. The way I use, as we develop and as we grow and we change, people freak out. They go, "Oh, you're not the same." Yeah, because I don't believe the things that I used to believe back then. Yeah, changed. What I knew then is not what I know now. Yeah, I can chalk that up for things I've learned along the way. And so just just recognizing that the spiritual journey is something that is going on inside of you, is something that's going on there, going on inside of you. That is the place of reality. This multi-dimensional part of me. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being born. Thank you for the star that you are. Ooh, thank you for the light that you shine deep inside. Oh, so I can find what was hidden in my darkness. So, learning to walk in grace and love is something that begins to happen within ourselves. We give that grace and that love to the self, to the inner child that got so chaotic and confused inside, because we were conditioned to just believe that there's only 3D rhythm, only 3D reality, only physical world existence. No, there's a higher spiritual path within us. Yes, we are here as the physical representation of, name, address, phone number, house, car. This is car I drive. This is the job I go to. All these sorts of representations and mental attachment points that we have within that paradigm of this physical reality and of society, and the way that we turn up as the roles and as the reflections of what that paradigm needs us to be in order to have this conformity into this paradigm that we have created of life, right? But there is also the higher paradigm that, well, we are this life inside. So within this deeper consciousness, we give life to the physical world. We give life to, you know, like, let me put it this way. This is just a pillow, a physical pillow sitting on the sofa. But I bring it to life when I bring attention to it. I say, this is my favorite pillow. I really like the lace on it and things like that. So as we begin to give awareness to something and life to something, that's the creative potential of this life inside. We have a voice, we have a mind, we have a heart, we have all of these inner centers that are waiting for us to integrate the deeper lessons so that we can come into the fullness of the light, that we can shine, that we can, to be able to see things more clearly within ourselves and for ourselves, but also between ourselves. Okay, because we are relational beings. We desire connection, not control, but that is the paradigm that we have lived under. So, we are conformed and conditioned by that. Okay, and so, yeah. So last of all, I'm just gonna I kind of I go on a journey and then I come back. But I do have these notes and I just wanna wrap it up, okay? So understanding the 3D reality, okay? 3D world functions through the mental attachments that we've developed within our field to create this form and paradigm of reality. So we have words and meanings and attachments of things within a physical sphere. you know I'm going to the supermarket, I'm picking up some whatever it is, and so we live within the physical world and the physical representation of that mental attachment to what things are, and the role that we have within that world and how we turn up within it. Okay, but there is also a deeper world that belongs to our existence, okay, our spirit, right? And so sometimes we have to, if we have, as I was going back to the beginning, we have different things that happen along the way, and so they shake the very foundation of those paradigms, and that happens for a reason, because we're supposed to go down into our internal processing center. That's what I want to emphasize here, because that's where the healing is, and that's where the growth is, and the understanding of self is. It's not out in the world. It's not you don't have to take on the burden of other people's judgments that come from their own fears and resistances that they're finding within themselves. Okay. And then they project something that doesn't fit you. You're like, no, that doesn't belong to me. That's not who I am. That's the interpretation that you have created. Okay. But that doesn't mean that I am going to be a reflection of that interpretation, or that of or identification of what I am, or who I am, or all those sorts of things. Okay. So we so part of the healing process is ownership, and re-owning the parts of us that are ours to freaking own. Like, no one gets to tell you what your personal experiences or your spiritual experiences are supposed to mean for you in life. you know that's that's called interfering. And you don't want to be interfering with the path that belongs to somebody else, because you're actually interfering with the higher power. Okay. um that is in charge of turning everything that you throw at them for evil into good. So so that's kind of like how karma works, doesn't it? um we can we can use the negative energy to build stamina and resilience, and those more deeply found beliefs within ourselves, because they come from that place, um, yeah, of deeper power to own that for ourselves. Okay, that expression of self. So yeah, when we have these internal processing experiences, that's what's going on. And so people will see things and say things that to you, to someone that is observing, that doesn't make any sense or whatever. That's okay. It's not for you. It's not supposed to make sense to you. Okay. They are they are not in the 3D rhythm. So, you know, as people that are observing an encounter, spiritual encounter, like a psychosis or awakening or things like that, and they're functioning in the 3D, that's okay, because those ones that are, they are the ones that can step up and be the support mechanism for those ones that go through those awakening experiences. Okay. And so, but you need to have a committed circle of people that will stand and protect these people, because oftentimes, people can misconstrue what's going on. They can make superficial judgments. They can react from places of their own fears and their own resistances. Um, and they can become suspicious and fearful, and they're just casting fearful judgments, and because they want to be in control of what's going on inside of you, because it's making them feel uncomfortable, right? Okay. And so once we begin to understand the encounter, and that it is actually mentioned within the DSM as well, and the DSM is the Diagnostic Manual. Um, the Diagnostic Symptoms Manual for psychiatry and psychologists. It's in there. The spiritual emergency, and so that is part of our a part of our evolution. Okay. And so it's important that we protect those encounters when people have them, because there's a lot of misunderstanding in the world, and so it's really good to bring through more understanding of those higher spiritual perspectives that we need to have of reality. Okay. um Yeah, so the 3D world functions through the mental attachment we've developed within our energetic field to create this form of reality through the inner referential points of this projected paradigm of life. So the outside external landscape of the reflection of life that we see, right? And so the avatar is the persona that we take on to fit the role of say we have a job at a certain place, then we fit that role and we do that function. But that is a an external conformity that we develop in order to fit within the societal structures of of this physical world, its interpretation and meaning that we give life, and this life that we are having, right? So when we go through something that knocks us for a sixer, we can no longer turn up as that avatar of being, of going to work, and because something deeper is going on where we're recognizing, um, we become more connected to this life that we are inside. Okay, so we kind of like hit a wall, or we have a nervous breakdown, or something big happens. It creates the shift. And so, you know treat these people with respect and support and understanding and awareness, um, and grace and love. Okay, don't ostracize them and speak death. Oh, that's an illness, and this and that. It's like, have some fucking respect. That's just how I want to say it right now. And so, is life something that we turn up for, that exists outside of us? Well, yes, to a degree it is. But then also, life is something, is the living presence of this inner potential of creation, of paradigm that can be found within all things. Okay, so there is also a higher purpose to this life inside, to this life that we are, right? Okay, so we begin to have, it seems fitting that we begin to have spiritual encounters when we begin to recognize that I am not this person that I'm turning up as for everybody else. Okay, I have become conformed into the reflection that they need me to be, and I am being that reflection out of fear, because they have taught me to resist who I really am inside, and to make judgments on that person who I am. Okay, right? Yeah. So, so you're thinking about reality. Um, yes, reality is these rhythms that we get into. It's like we wake up, we turn on the ignition and we go into first gear, eat our breakfast, da da da, da, all these sorts of things, and we sort of have these rhythms that build during the day and then slow down in the evening, and we have times to eat and things like that, and we keep track of the things that we need to be doing, like our washing, and or taking our car and getting a warrant of fitness, and all those practical things that we do, okay, in order to function and live within this construct of society, right? But that's not the only reality. To believe that is to support a complete illusion. Okay, because we all know that there is a reality that lives within us. Okay, and and this is the part that we've suppressed, this is the part that we've masked, this is the part that we've denied or tried to destroy, or told this part of us, you're not good enough, you can't be seen, you can't be heard, you can't be felt, you have to hide away within your shadows and don't ever come out. Don't ever come out of your shell, you just stay there. Okay, and just pretend like you're okay. Okay, stuff like that, when you're really not. And just keep turning up for work, even though you're really exhausted inside, mentally and emotionally, and you need a break, you know? And just keep functioning within this 3D world, you know? Even though you actually are having a nervous breakdown and you actually really need some solitude and some peace and some stillness, and this system, this body, needs to be able to detach from 3D so that it can rest, so that it can think, so it can reorganize itself and heal, okay, and evolve, right? Allow for that time. It's not a crime. Okay, and so when people go through those deep inner processes, ah, they are finding something deeper that they've needed in order to be able to function at full capacity within the world. Okay, because you know, just turning up and living a lie, pretending, masking, that shit's exhausting. You know, yeah, when you finally get to just be able to turn up as yourself, as an authentic expression of who you are. Now that's a breath of fresh air, you know, and when other people get to do that as well. Okay, so we are sort of allowing for uh, more expression of that deeper world that we are. Okay. And so, yeah, um, thank you so much for being here. It's nearly an hour. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, blessings, love, and light to all. Namaste.